What's going on? It's your boy once again, Pop DIBIASE for Fanatics View. I'm sitting here with the legendary Oliver Luck. Man, oh man, it's such a pleasure. How you doing today, Mr. Luck?
Jamil, I'm doing fine, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And see, I'm gonna let him call me by my first name. I know I always say Pop DIBIASE, but with him, I'm Jamil today. So, what's going on? The XFL, exciting new league. Well, 2.0, is this thing going to go the way that you guys expect it to go?
I think it will. I think that we've spent a lot of time and effort. Vince McMahon, our founder, spent a lot of time and effort to build this the right way. Football is our national pastime. It's our favorite sport in this country. People can't get enough of it, quite honestly. A lot of people are despondent, like me, probably like you, after the Super Bowl when, oh my gosh, there's no more football. What are we going to do? So we think we've built this league to, fill the springtime with good, up-tempo, fast-paced quality football, high-scoring activity, fun games. We got great broadcast partners, ESPN, ABC, Fox. We got some great coaches, including guys like Bob Stoops in Dallas. Those are real football men, right? We got some great players. I believe that football, college, NFL, is being played at such a high level now that the whole game has been elevated. So those guys who are with us are unbelievably talented. I'm in Houston the last couple of weeks watching our training camp, and I see a guy like Jazz Ferguson. And I say, he's playing for Dallas. How is he not in the league? I watch Sammy Coates, who's on the Houston Roughnecks roster, third-round pick of the Steelers out of Auburn back in, 16, I think. How's this guy not in the national? And I'm glad they're playing for us because they're going to be fun to watch. They're going to catch every ball and light it up. So I think the quality of player, the quality of the coach is really good. So we're excited about launching February 8th and 9th and playing good, old-fashioned, hard-nosed football that people are going to enjoy. One thing I'll say, and Vince McMahon is very adamant about this, he wants our game to be affordable. So for $20, you can sit in the lower bowl of Globe Life Park, which has been totally renovated. Looks like a brand new stadium almost. You can, for $20, sit in CenturyLink Field up in Seattle. All these great stadiums. Bring a family of four. Imagine bring a family of four for less than $100 to watch, an afternoon of professional football. That's pretty good. We're excited about that too.
And yeah, I saw the ticket package with the Wildcats. I said, man, that's pretty good, man, because it's in the Carson area, and and they could be a very local team over there because you have Long Beach, and you already have Carson there as well too, and then you have Orange County that's not too far away from there either. So I think that will be a very good look for them, being in much a smaller venue, but it's something that's going to be very intimate and something fun to watch. That's what I'm thinking with the Wildcats and everything.
No, I think that's absolutely the case. The Dignity Health's a beautiful little park. You'll hear the quarterback calling his plays, calling the signals, right? It's that intimate, and it's a marvelous atmosphere. So given the Wildcats and Winston Moss and Norm Chow, the offensive coordinator, I think that they've got a very good team. They looked real strong down in our training camp. Those are going to be great events, great weather, of course. Fairly easy in and out, as easy as you can get, with the LA freeways, but all of our venues are like that, right? They're nice, they're fun, they're top notch, and you can get in for less than $100 for the entire family. That's a pretty good deal.
Awesome stuff. Now, your TV deal is something that's just very comparable to the NFL, that you guys have a number of networks that are going to be covering the game. How did you guys come about those deals? Like, are they very excited about the league as well too? It seems like it.
I think they are. I think they're as excited as we are. They know that football draws. I was just reading an article recently of the top 50 rated TV shows last calendar year, 2019. 41 were NFL games. And of those remaining 9, another 4 or 5 were college football games. So football still draws on television. Of the top 50 shows, 45 or so were football games. So they know how important football is. They know how to produce those games, how to really create drama in those games. We've been working with Fox and ESPN and ABC now for well over a year. We've got a handful of rules, innovations. We're doing a few things a little bit differently. The networks will broadcast those, produce those games a little bit differently. So, but I think you'll see the same great quality, the same great drama, the same great passion, from our broadcast partners. I think they're as excited as we are.
Man, because when I saw ABC, ESPN, you guys have Fox as well too. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, and I just was like, whoa, these guys have really set themselves up to really succeed this time because NBC had a great idea in the beginning, but just things just like we all saw the documentary on ESPN, so we know I don't need to elaborate all that. So perfect. So why don't we move on? Talk a little bit about Andrew. When was it that you saw that he could move forward and be, just a college quarterback? Because the pros are always the dream. But when did you see that special thing about Andrew?
Well, we were living in Houston at the time, and Texas high school football is a pretty big deal, right? And the great thing about Texas high school football is there's great coaching. You really get great coaches. So even his freshman football team in high school, his assistant coach was a guy who played quarterback at one of the smaller schools in Louisiana, McNichols State or so. But from an early age on, he got great coaching. I tried to help where I could. And as I saw him in high school, I said, this kid could be a pretty good college player. He's got, the arm strength and the mobility and the discipline, and the ability to sort of focus and keep his eyes downfield, all those things that you want from a quarterback. But it really wasn't until probably his third year in college at Stanford, working with Jim Harbaugh and David Shaw and Pep Hamilton. It wasn't probably until that point that I said, oh my gosh, he might be good enough to play in the National Football League. I don't think many parents grew up thinking their kid's going to become a MLB or NBA or National Football League player. That's just, so challenging, and it's such a narrow, point at the top of that pyramid. But it was probably, at some point during his high school career that I thought, he can go to college. And then at some point in his college career, towards the end, that I thought, well, he might make a pretty good NFL quarterback.
Now, how did you feel when he said, you know what, I'm going to forego the NFL, and I'm going to stick around for my senior year? How did you feel about that when he did that?
Well, there are a couple of reasons that he did that, and I would say there's really two that are most important. One, he wanted to finish with the class that he came in with. And he redshirted his freshman year, so while he could have left after only playing 2 years, he wanted to leave with the guys he came in with. And he also wanted, I think, another year of experience. The other thing is, and this is old-fashioned, I suppose, but he wanted to get his degree. He went to Stanford, great school, and the reason he chose Stanford was the academics as much as the athletics, and it's a great, of course, institution. So, I think he also wanted to walk across the stage and get his degree and kind of set himself up, for the end of his playing career. So when he shared that information with us about his decision, it was his, wasn't mine, wasn't his mom's or my wife's, it was his alone. We were 100% supportive.
And I know, question, and we all know he retired. Now, before, when he was thinking about retiring, did he consult with you? And did he make this decision with letting you guys know before, the decision was made with the Colts?
Well, we have there are 4 kids in the family, my wife and I, and he's got a very supportive family, and he's got his wife as well. So he had talked to us about the challenges he was going through with that sort of constant cycle of injury rehab, and what it does is it sucks the joy out of the game, And I'd always told him over the years, if you don't have that pilot light in your belly burning very bright, you don't play football, because it's a hard game. Right. And you get beat up and you lose, and it's a tough game to play. So you've got to have that ambition, that motivation. And if the motivation kind of gets sucked out of you because of the injury rehab cycle, I said, listen, Andrew, it's your call, but there's nothing wrong with saying enough, right? And he's done well financially, socked a bunch of money in the bank. He's a pretty modest kid in terms of his needs. He's got a degree. He's got a lovely wife and now a 2.5-month-old daughter, my first grandchild. So he's, I don't put it this way, I don't worry about him. He'll be just fine.
Understood. And he was one of my favorites in the league as well, too. How do you think he measures up to the greats? And will he be a Hall of Famer one day?
Oh, it's hard to say how he measures up, to the greats. There's so many good players who've had long careers. I think just, this year, right, of, Eli retiring after a marvelous career. Phillip Rivers looks like he may decide to hang it up. Who knows what Tom's going to do? He might play forever. Ben Roethlisberger's getting old. Drew's getting old. Matt Ryan's getting up there in age. I mean, there's so many great quarterbacks. I think Andrew was just, I'm happy he had a chance to play. I'm happy he had a chance to, pursue that passion. It's some very memorable games, some games he'd rather take back, I think. But I'm not sure I'd want to put him in any kind of a particular category amongst the all-timers. There's a lot of good quarterbacks who had much longer careers who probably are much more deserving of any accolades than he is.
Well, I just felt like he was the leader of the new school. We got so many great new quarterbacks nowadays. Who's your top 5 in the league right now?
There's a couple of guys I really enjoy watching, from that class of 2012, right, which is Andrew's class. Russell is doing a remarkable job and has found, I think, a great home up in Seattle. I was really excited to see Ryan Tannehill have the kind of year he had this year. That was special. Kirk Cousins, another guy from that class that, I'm glad to see him have success. I've always liked, Matt Ryan. If I were king for a day, I would encourage some of the older guys to do what Eli's done, right? To step down, because it's a hard game. There's nothing left for Tom to prove to anybody except to himself, I suppose, or Drew, or Ben for that matter. Those are all, or Philip. I mean, they're all great players. They played their hearts out. I admire the fact they still want to play, but I also just sort of worry about just getting beat up, because it's a rough game. You play 17, 18, 19, 20 years. I just can't imagine, the wear and tear that it takes on your body.
I totally agree, and that's all I've been telling people. Go ahead and retire, because we saw what happened with Brett Favre. Brett Favre, it doesn't take anything away from his legacy. It wasn't like he was that bad. It's just that he was so hurt at the end, and he was already over 40, and it's really hard to get back from stuff like that. So that's how I kind of felt about that. So that's why I feel like, yeah, it would be great for Tom Brady to retire on his high horse somewhat. So.
Well, I just think that there's all these guys are bright guys. There's a chance for them to do a bunch of different things after their football careers are over, and it helps to have a healthy body to go along with that. Obviously, not my decision for anybody, but that would be, that's what I would hope to see.
Perfect. Now I got one more question for you. Super Bowl prediction, final score.
Oh gosh, I'm not good at the final scores, but I've always been a believer that the team with a better defense in a game like this, has the best shot to win it. So the way San Francisco's been playing defensively is unbelievable. They got all bases covered, from the front line to the back end. So I think it'll be a relatively low-scoring game for some reason. I don't know why. It could be a sort of a 27-24 or 24-21. That's a low-scoring game nowadays.
Right,
In the old days, that was a high-scoring game.
Right.
But I think I'd give the edge to the Niners.
All right. So there it goes. Niners for Mr. Oliver Luck. So beautiful stuff. This is Fanatics View, and it's your boy, and I'm gone.
What's up, sports fans? Breon Page here with Fanatics View. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed watching and you want to see more content, subscribe down below.